Kushner is a very close associate of Donald Trump, so I'm not sure that his book is going to reveal the dirty laundry. Maybe on the contrary, he will want to glorify his mentor, and he's a member of the family too. So, but this story is interesting. It's also very difficult to comment. Why? Because, you know, if there's anybody who was close to the decision-making process, specifically on the Middle East, it's Jared Kushner. So that gives him a lot of credibility. On the other hand, his assessment is very subjective. He says the reaction was tepid. You know, I'm unable to measure the temperature, the exact temperature of what was on that phone call. But if you push me, I can draw a scenario in which I could understand why Netanyahu would be hesitant. I can't imagine that he was opposed, but maybe reluctant. Why? For two reasons. The first reason, Netanyahu is known to be inclined towards status quo. He doesn't like to rock the boat too strongly, and definitely he might have thought that if the announcement came the next day, he might have riots on his hands in Jerusalem with all the implications. And the second issue is that he might be thinking two steps ahead and saying, okay, so my friend Donald Trump, the President of the United States, the first president since ever who has made good on his promise to move the embassy, because that was a campaign promise by nearly every president before him. But the day after tomorrow, he's going to ask me for something in return. And that something in return might be a renewal of negotiations with the Palestinians, something that he didn't want and politically was completely untenable for him.
Can you walk us back to the political situation in 2017 as things stood here on the ground in Israel, and really look at, because you just brought up the point of what is it going to cost us? And that was the big question on everyone's mind at the time. What was Netanyahu's biggest fear? What would the cost have meant for his career?
Well, you know, it's a question. He felt that opening this Pandora box of negotiations with the Palestinians was something that his government and his leadership could not withstand. Gradually, over the years preceding the 2017 event, there was a feeling that it is impossible to renew these negotiations in a practical way. The country was moving towards the right. There was less and less support for the two-state solution. So definitely he would not have wanted to do that. Now, it has to be said that Donald Trump never really pushed Netanyahu towards the two-state solution. I remind you of his famous saying, you know, one state, two states, three states, you know, it's your business. You decide. But the truth is that the announcement over the recognition of Jerusalem did come with a price tag. First of all, he said, this does not mean that I recognize the boundaries of Jerusalem, and these boundaries will still have to be negotiated with the Palestinians. And second, he then came with the deal of the century, the famous deal of the century, which did imply renewing negotiations with the Palestinians to find a final settlement to the conflict.